This video is basically about what I haven't seen so far discussed by YouTubers or other people on the internet. And I mean, you know all about Sweet Baby by now. It doesn't make sense that I just start now to explain, oh, it's a consultant company and all that. There are other videos that explain that far better. There are other videos about the last Gamergate and ethics in journalism. That's also something other people explained far better. I was around at that time, but I wasn't really involved. I had other problems, so I won't assume that I'm an expert on it. So I might link other videos that explain that better. And so if you don't have any clue what it is about, that will explain it. This video is about the question, us as a consumer, how much right have we to reject not a narrative? That's also another point. I don't want to discuss now if we need diversity, if we need things Sweet Baby provides, if we need that in our games. I might do another video about that, but this video is about, let's just assume we're all on the same page. Yes, we need that and we need more of it, and we need to have our games full of it. Just assume that for a second. That still bears the question, who is eligible to teach us that? Who is in charge, or who do we trust to put in charge to push that narrative of diversity and inclusion? And since there were rumors and there were other videos that came up that Sweet Baby Inc. is basically the strings attached to government funds, to loans that publishers get to produce their games. So there isn't really like a way around. It's not like they get hired by people that think that they're great writers, like they always point out. They always point out, oh, we're great writers. That's why they hire us. Right now, I think there's a bit of a shadow on that subject, that those people don't get hired because they're so great at their job, or they're a great writer and they're great talents. They get the job because they represent money that's given to those publishers. On the in the contract is then the paragraph that to get that fund, to get that loan, they have to hire Sweet Baby Inc. or other consultant companies if that's another loan, but it comes strings attached with those companies. So it's not really free will. It's not really that anybody hires those guys because they're so talented. And that's another thing that I was looking up, how talented, how you say, how devoted are those people to do what they do right now, or is it just a meal ticket basically? So Kim Belair, basically the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. and co-founder. If you look at her experience, it's all in gaming. It's all got nothing to do with education or anything like that. It's all gaming and writing at best. And her education is commerce and marketing. If you look at some of the others, Chris Kindred, that's a guy that doesn't like Dragon Ball. He also writer. He was a professor or had a part-time contract at in New York. Still, art and history. He has a bit of teaching in art and history, but nothing of the kind that you would say that he is like, you know, that he has any right to teach anybody about society at a whole and who to represent and who not. And the other people, she's an ex-employee from Sweet Baby Inc. Concordia University, Classical Ancient Mediterranean Near Eastern Studies and Archaeology. Um, Grant Roberts, he is also lead writer. computer science and journalism. Amy Leigh Shaw, narrative designer, worked for the BBC, screenwriting, creative writing. It's all like those people. They're all are hugely into writing. They want to be the next writer. They want to be on the next New York Times bestseller list, Pulitzer Prize, or something like that. And the rest is just to further their career in connections. So she was like Bachelor of Arts, Criminology, Society and Law, Communication, Culture and Information and Technology. Yet again, that's they haven't really done anything to prove that they really are worth of government funds, for example, to teach narratives for the next generation. It's all about, like they are, you have to say it, like they are just failed writers. That even if they publish their books, I mean, Kim Belair, she published some stuff here. Some is about gaming, small stories, big games, limited history of Castle Infinity. Then there are other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with gaming. Death Becomes Her, How a Room Full of Dead Animals Helped Me Find Myself. It's pure steel when an aging treasure hunter goes missing in darkest Africa. His daughter Eleanor recruits the world's greatest explorer to hunt him down. Set in 1910, Pure Steel is a story of a ramshackle expedition into the heart of the Dark Continent, told in its own words. Part satire, part loving homage to pulp adventure. Pure Steel is an illustrated romp that brilliantly captured the spirit of the era with a winking wit of the modern day. It's all already brilliant, even though I don't even know how that sold. I doubt it was very well. And I can see that all the time all over Twitter, and I watched videos, also Kim Belair, how they talk about themselves, and it's all about how they did that for many, many years. They wrote for many, many years, as if they're like established people where you immediately, they're a household name. To be honest, I never heard of her before that all started. And if you then look at Twitter, who comes to their yeah, here Paul Tassi, that's another thing. He's now riding the train of harassment. Again, could be anybody that sent them the texts. It's very vaguely. It's like they just want to go into limelight, like you would call them, the normie press, the normies. And it's just about, they don't really, some other user on Twitter said that it's just like they don't really like games. They just want to in the normal media, which they won't manage to break through because they don't have any talents. And then you see here Paul Tassi, what he really wants. He wants to sell books. He wants to be the next great thing. He wants to be the writer. I wrote some books. It's all failed writers that never made it. So now they went into gaming industry, and that's their meal ticket. And now through that, they try to become what they initially were rejected for, writers, and that people read their books and admire them for them. Well, yeah, it's hard to become a good writer without any life experience. I mean, we know all that about writers, alcoholics, and failed failed people basically that didn't make it for years, that really had a hard time, and that literally wrote their heart out. What those people do, they choose the easy way. They choose the easy meal ticket, the great job living in Montreal or New York City. And how do they expect to get good stories out of their life if they never get challenged, if they always stay, yeah, the mediocre people with mediocre stories and attack everybody else that's remotely creative? Like, for example, they're not on about harassment. Most of it is just memes. And it's funny. Humor is also harassment, apparently, these days. So, yeah, let me think about what you think about that subject. Are those people really the kind of that's eligible to push any narrative? Are they really talented? Have they really like the background and education to teach anybody? I mean, no background in education whatsoever. Tell me what you think about in the comments, and otherwise, see you on the internet.